As we are very excited and thrilled for this Saturday. Fox PBC Fight Night live on Fox and Fox Deportes is headlined by undefeated Polish star and Brooklyn native Adam KOWNACKI as he battles the exciting former title challenger, the hard-hitting Chris the Nightmare ARREOLA, in a heavyweight showdown from Barclays Center, the home of Brooklyn boxing. We get started at 8 o'clock Eastern 5 Pacific time, and it features unbeaten interim WBA light heavyweight champion Sir Marcus Brown, also an Olympian, as he battles the former world champion Jean Pascal in a 12-round matchup. Also, Brooklyn's own Curtis Stevens dropping down to 154 as he squares off against Wale Motoso in a 10-round matchup. Tickets for the event, they are going quickly. You can purchase them Ticketmaster.com or also at the American Express box office at Barclays Center, and all brought to you by TGB Promotions. And speaking of TGB Promotions, they have been so busy for the past several years. I mean, promoting events all over the world, and Saturday night is no exception. It gives me great honor and pleasure to introduce the president of TGB Promotions, one of the smartest minds that boxing has ever seen. Please welcome my dear friend, Mr. Tom Brown.
Well, thank you, Ray, and thanks everyone for joining us for this conference call for what should be an amazing see on Fox and Fox Support this card presented by Premier Boxing Champions at the Barclays Center, the home of Brooklyn Boxing, on this Saturday night. Brooklyn Boxing is now a very well-known brand in the industry because of the dedication to boxing and the support of Brett Yormark, the CEO of BSE Global. I'm very excited about this fight. I've been waiting for this one for a long time, and I know Adam and Chris have as well. It's a very intriguing fight in the heavyweight division, a division which has certainly got a lot of attention and a lot of buzz lately. So thank you everyone again for joining us, and I'll hand things back over to Ray to introduce the fighters. Ray?
Thank you very much, Tom. Greatly appreciate it. And as Tom mentioned, yes, this is a fight that we are very excited about. The Barclays Center, there's something special about that arena. The fight fans come out. The building is just tailor-made for boxing. And on Saturday night, we have a heck of a main event with Adam KOWNACKI and Chris ARREOLA. Let's meet one of the participants in our main event of the evening. His record, 38 wins, 5 losses, 1 draw, 33 wins coming by way of knockout from Los Angeles, California. A 3-time heavyweight title challenger who's gone up against the likes of Deontay Wilder, Vitaly Klitschko, Tomasz Admas, and also Burbanks Tavern. Most recently, he was in action at AT&T Stadium, a part of the Spence Garcia Fox Sports pay-per-view event. He finished off the previously unbeaten Jean-Pierre Augustin in March. Please welcome, ladies and gentlemen, the always entertaining and the extremely dedicated and focused Chris the Nightmare ARREOLA.
Hey, how you doing? How you guys doing, man? First, I'd like to thank everyone that's out here right now, Fox, for putting this great show on, and can't wait to get in the ring with Adam, man. It's going to be a fun night. It's going to be a great night of boxing, and I'm excited. I've been working hard, and I know Adam's ready, and I'm very ready to get the show on the road.
When speaking of Chris ARREOLA's opponent, Adam KOWNACKI, his record, 19 wins, no losses, 15 wins coming by way of knockout. A 30-year-old who was born in Poland before moving to Brooklyn when he was only 7 years of age. He is no stranger to Barclays Center. This will be the 9th time that he has fought at Barclays Center, but the first as a main event at Barclays Center. Had an impressive decision over former champion Charles Martin last September, most recently halted Gerald Washington in 2 rounds in January. Live on Fox, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the entertaining Adam KOWNACKI.
Hello, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure. I can't wait to put on the show on August 30th.
Well, thank you very much, Adam. Now we will open it up to the media for questions. If they have any questions for Chris ARREOLA, Adam KOWNACKI, or also Mr. Tom Brown, as we are looking forward to Saturday Night Slugfest, PBC live on Fox.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you have any questions at this time, please press star 1 on your telephone keypad. Again, if you have any questions at this time, please press star 1 on your telephone keypad. I'm waiting for callers to join the queue at this present time. Our first question is going to come from Mark Lenawala from Sporting News. Please go ahead.
Adam, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, good. I was just curious, you've been chomping at the bit and calling out Deontay Wilder for quite some time. With the recent news with Dillian White, do you feel like a very convincing win on Saturday night would, help you possibly slip in there and get that fight with him a little sooner than expected, perhaps?
Yeah, I think so. I think from what I heard, Deontay Wilder has OTs coming up and a fight with Tyson Fury. So definitely, hopefully towards the end of 2020, I'll be able to get a crack at him. But most importantly, I got to make sure I can get past Chris Arreola August 3rd this Saturday.
Sure. Thanks very much.
Our next question is going to come from Peter from Fight News. Please go ahead.
Hi, gents. Hi, Chris. Hi, Adam. First for Chris. When you called Joe Goosen 3 months ago, you knew it's gonna be a hard training camp. Why Joe Goosen, and what happened during those 3 months? And the question for Adam next. Adam, I know you many, many years, and for many, many years, the number one on your list was Chris Arreola. Why Chris? First, Chris, if you can start with that.
Well, the reason I went with Joe Goosen is, first, I've known Joe for many years, man. I've always been a fan of Joe ever since the Castillo Corrales fight. And, he's part of the family. Dan Goosen, my old promoter, rest in peace. So I've always wanted to keep it in the family. I like the way he works. I like that he's old school, very old school kind of coach. He's very methodical, and he makes sure that he's there every minute of training camp. So it was a very beneficial, and it was a great experience for me. And I can't wait to fight this Saturday so I can put everything on the line.
Adam, please.
I mean, watching Chris, he's a great fighter. I think he's still one of the biggest names in the heavyweight division with all the great fighters he was in there with. He beat a lot of them, and then the top ones, he came a little bit short. So I know if I could beat Chris Arreola, I'm more on those sides that are really on the top of the game and top of the division. So I think being a guy like Chris Arreola puts me up there in top 10, top 5 category.
I'm going to jump with one quick one also for both of the guys. I had the pleasure to speak with Joe Goosen last night, and he said he doesn't believe the fight goes past 7. The fight is going to be decided by possibly one error. Chris, your opinion, also Adam, you.
I honestly agree on that, and it's not discounting or not saying anything negative against KOWNACKI, because it could go either way. He could knock me out like I could knock him out. The thing is that we both have an extensive amateur experience. We both know how to fight, and we both just need a little window opportunity to knock someone out. That's all we need, because we have the experience and we have the power. That's the reason Joe would say that, because we're both the exciting fighters that are going to put it on the line.
Yeah, I'm ready for 12 rounds, but if it ends early, I get an opportunity to finish it quick. I'll go for it. And like you said before, if you guys have been boxing fans for a while, you've seen Chris around for a while, you see coming up in the past couple of years. Our styles are like a perfect matchup, or like a dream matchup for a fan. Both come forward, both look for a knockout. So it's definitely going to be a lot of haymakers being thrown. And, one of us trying to get the finish, or both of us trying to get the finish.
Gentlemen, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Our next question is going to come from Dan Raphael from ESPN. Please go ahead.
Thank you very much. Hello, everybody. I have a couple of questions for Chris. Hey, Chris.
Hey, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing very well, thank you. So with Adam, he is seeking to become the first, not in this fight, but eventually in his career, seeking to become the first Polish heavyweight champion. A lot of the storyline, Chris, around your career the last several years, when you've had your opportunities in championship fights, is to try to become the first Mexican heavyweight champion. Obviously, that did not happen, and now Andy Ruiz has done that. I wonder if you could speak to your experience of having that sort of something that was part of your identity of the guy trying to become the first from your heritage, now the way Adam is trying to become the first from his background. What was that like for you, and the kind of pressure he may feel for that?
See, the thing is that he has a whole nation, a Polish nation behind him, and it is a bit a burden, not so much a burden, but it's a big weight on your shoulders to be carrying around. And as for myself, it was a big, hard burden, a hard weight on my shoulders for me to carry around. And now that Andy did it, I feel like the weight's off my shoulders now. Now I could just fight. And I think Adam just needs to just fight and not worry about first this or first that, because the main thing is getting that win and getting that fight, and not getting caught up in the whole being the first, because it's a bit overwhelming if you let yourself be caught up in that situation.
Chris, did you get caught up in that the first time you fought? I mean, you fought for the title 3 times, so I think probably by the third time, that had maybe diminished a little bit. It maybe wasn't as big, even though it was certainly part of the story. When you say it was a burden or you got caught up in it, was that the first time? Was that the second or the third? Like
absolutely,
it was always the pressure.
The first time was really the most pressure when I fought Klitschko. That was the biggest pressure. The second time when I fought Adam, I didn't have no pressure. I didn't feel like I had the pressure because I was actually in really good shape and I was ready for that fight. Just happened. I got caught, and it's boxing. And Adamek
wasn't for the title, though, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm sorry. I missed Stavern.
I got you. Okay.
Yeah, Stavern. Yeah, with Stavern, I was in great shape for that fight. I was ready for that fight. I was ready to take the title. I was actually worried about the fight more than worrying about making history. And that's really what you really have to be worried about, is just the fight in hand, the task in hand. Because if you don't take care of the task in hand, then there is no history. And that's
what about
exactly
the third
what
one?
Andy Ruiz did.
And what about with Wilder? I mean, was that point, was that even on your mind?
But no, it wasn't even on my mind at all. My mind at that point was just winning the title. I wasn't even thinking about being the first Mexican or being the first anything. All I wanted to be is being the first champion. I just wanted to be a champion.
So let me ask this: now that Andy has done that and did so, in a huge upset, what were your feelings about that? Were you happy for him? Happy as a Mexican American to see there be a champion?
Absolutely. I was happy for him, for his family, because he deserves it, man. Like I said, I've known the kid since he was 17 years old, and he's always been hungry. He's always worked hard. He's always been a big boy, but he's always been a big boy with skills. And I was elated for him. I was elated for the Mexican fans that finally we had a Mexican champion, and he did it, man. And honestly, a lot of pressure came off of me, and I congratulate him, man. I'm happy for him.
All right, so no disappointment that should you get another chance to fight for a heavyweight title, that you cannot accomplish that particular feat. Absolutely not at all. I'm not a bitter man, I'm not a man that's gonna be a resentful man, because you know what, man, there's a short life, man, and I love it, man, and I appreciate him. And I love what he did for the sport, and honestly, he didn't just do something big for the Mexican people, but he made something big for the sport of boxing and for the heavyweight division, because now it's wide open. All right, very good. Chris, thank you very much for that. I appreciate it. Good luck to both you guys on Saturday.
Thank you.
You too.
Our next question is going to come from Carlos Toro from Fightful News. Please go ahead.
Thanks, and thanks so much to both of you for taking time to talk to us. My first question for Chris. Chris, at one point you were pretty much in Kownacki's shoes about a decade ago when you fought Jamil McCline, a younger, unbeaten heavyweight looking to beat a veteran before moving on to fight for a title, and now you're kind of on the other side. How does it feel to be the veteran in this type of fight instead of being the younger heavyweight?
Yeah, you know what? It's kind of the circle of life, man. Everything goes around, right? goes around full circle. I was once the young lion, and now I'm the old veteran, and that's exactly how I feel. I feel like Jamil McClain, and but the thing about it, man, I feel like I'm in great shape. I feel like I'm ready to put on a great show, and I don't feel like this is the end of my show. I think this is just another chapter of my boxing career, and I honestly believe that Adam is a great fighter. I think that he's a really good fighter, but I got to keep my career going.
A few months ago, before your last fight on the Spence Garcia pay-per-view, you talked about this being your last one on a title, and you mentioned, how great you are, how great you feel physically. But do you still look at this fight and this run overall where it's still one loss and you're done, you retire for good?
Absolutely, man. No disrespect to anybody, no disrespect to Adam, because I think he's a great fighter. But personally, man, if I lose, there's no reason for me to be in the sport of boxing. I'm in boxing to be a champion. And if I lose, it brings me all the way back to the bottom. And I don't want to keep crawling back up and keep crawling back up again. I'm too old to be doing that, man. So it's a make or break kind of fight. It's a win or go home thing. And I know Adam has intentions to retire me. And I'm not planning to retire no time soon. I know Adam worked his butt off to get me out of this boxing, but I worked hard myself.
Thanks, Chris. And Adam, a quick question. And you fought in Brooklyn at the Barclays Center countless times, but this being your first main event at the Barclays Center, especially on a big stage like fighting on Fox, how do you feel, getting this opportunity and potentially maybe enticing a guy like Deontay Wilder to fight, especially if you get a big win over Chris?
I feel blessed. I grew up there. I grew up in Brooklyn. So it's an amazing feeling being the headliner and having all my friends, all my family, the whole community being there and having my back and making something of myself. Growing up in Brooklyn, it's very tough. And get to a spot I'm at, it's very rewarding. But done yet, it's just the beginning. And I feel this is the step in making something even bigger and greater.
Do you believe that, you mentioned about wanting to beat Chris quicker than when Deontay Wilder did a couple of years ago. If you do beat him in quick fashion, do you think that alone will be enough to get that world title opportunity? Do you feel like maybe there's still a little more before you can fully convince the title holders at heavyweight before getting that shot?
I think so. We spoke of McClain earlier today, so I know Chris finished him in 4. Maybe that's how I'll do it to Chris. I know it took Wilder 7 or 8 rounds. So if I'll do it half the time, I'll be happy. And, that'll be a huge statement, especially on somebody tough like Chris ARREOLA.
Thanks, Chris, and thanks, Adam. Best of luck to the both of you on Saturday.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next question is going to come from John Cudney from the Reddit Boxing. Please go ahead.
Hi. This is a question for Chris to start with. So, are you concerned about Adam's home field advantage at the Barclays Center? He really packs in the Polish fans. They're really, really loud during the fights. And they even play the Polish national anthem in between rounds. Is that something you're focused on?
Nah, not at all, man. No disrespect to Polish fans or anything like that, because I appreciate every fan. Every fan that comes in there gives me added motivation. Gives me added motivation. At the end of the day, it's going to be me and Adam in the ring. There's not going to be no fans in the ring. I'm okay.
Okay, thanks a lot. So, question for Adam here. Just wondering if you can talk about how big your ambitions are in the sport. You always come off as such a humble guy. So the question is, do you picture yourself and imagine yourself as a future heavyweight champion with all the money and celebrity that can come with that? Or do you really just take things one fight at a time?
That's my goal. I have a clear mission to be the first Polish world heavyweight champion of the world. And that's the goal. You got to stay humble because life as we know it could drop you down back to earth real quick. I remember being up-and-coming fighter, being 4-0, 4 knockouts, and I had a little misfortune of breaking my left hand, and I was out for 3 years. And my whole world came, and I was out for 3 years, so my whole world came crashing down. But that was a very valuable lesson, and to make sure I'm humble. But the goal remains the same, is to be a world champion, and the fame and all that stuff comes with it. Great, I'll cope with it then. Right now, I'm just laser focused on becoming a heavyweight champion. And Chris is in my way, so I gotta make sure I'm able to win on Saturday.
Okay, well, thanks a lot, Chris and Adam. Good luck on Saturday night. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Again, ladies and gentlemen, if you have any questions at this time, please press star 1 on your telephone keypad. Again, if you have any questions at this time, please press star 1 on your telephone keypad. Our next question is going to come from Jeremy Iguedes from fansided.com. Please go ahead.
Hi, Chris. My first question's for you. Recently on the TalkBox podcast, you talk about how you were working on new things with Joe Goosen. What are some of the new things that maybe you paid attention to with Joe that you didn't necessarily focus on in the past?
You know what? One of the main things that Joe does is trainer. You make sure that you throw your jab right, your right hand right. So I think that my punches are gonna come out the pocket a lot smoother, a lot better, a lot more fluid. I had defensive movement. So the main thing is fluidness, making everything just flow.
Mm-hmm. You've had a long, successful career. You debuted as a professional in 2003. It's 2019 now, and you're 38 years old. How would you say your perspective towards boxing has changed from then to now?
Well, my perspective from boxing, the main thing that has changed is the work ethic, the way you work. You know, you really have to work because boxing is my job, so I have to work like it's my job. I have to treat my body right, like it's a machine. So because it is a machine, and without a machine, I can't work right. So it's just the main thing now, especially that I'm older, is paying attention to my body, working hard, and not beating myself up where I ain't gonna have nothing left tomorrow.
What's the biggest thing that, obviously other than working hard, what's the biggest thing that you think you've learned over the years of doing this? What's the biggest piece of knowledge that's been invaluable to you as a veteran?
Well, inside the ring, as far as inside the ring, the main thing is staying calm. You can't get all out of your business and get excited because that's just wasted energy. And outside the ring, it's just being as humble as you can be, man. Because you got to remember, you're nobody without the fans. And just like that, they could pull the carpet under your feet and then you can land flat in your face. Got to be humble. Got to respect everyone the way you want to be treated. So that's just my main thing. Oh, yeah, and moderation. Everything in moderation. Can't be crazy with everything.
Well, thank you, Chris. Last question for Adam. Adam, you and Chris are very physically similar to each other, same height, same reach. What do you feel that you do that separates the two of you?
Actually, it's very similar styles. We fight very similar. We throw a lot of punches. We both come forward. So I guess it's going to be a more experienced lion fighting a younger, hungrier lion. You're going to see whose game plan lands on top. I mean, I think if you took any fighter, me and Chris are so similar, like I said, so many aspects from our height, our reach, the way we fight. It's going to be the experience could stop the youth and the youth.
Mm-hmm. Gentlemen, thank you very much, and best of luck to you both.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, our next question is going to come from Josh Kowalski, from Forrest. Please go ahead.
Hey, this question is for Adam. There was a lot of talk made last weekend about Jose Ramirez and Maurice Hooker fighting because it was kind of matchroom boxing and top-ranked boxing, breaking down that so-called, political line between the two, and they were able to get top-notch fighters from two competing promotions. And then it's, obviously with Lomachenko and Campbell this year is kind of the return match for Top Rank and Matchroom. Is that do you think that's a good thing for boxing to be able to kind of break down this like other side of the street mentality?
Let's wait and see. But yes, boxing is also like good because everybody's their own boss. I think what PBC is doing with boxing is great. It gives us a platform to perform, and I think it got to make sense for the fighters. A lot of great fights have been made. If it was Pacquiao versus Mayweather, Pacquiao was with Top Rank, Mayweather was with Heyman, and that fight was made. So I think it's just a matter of coming to agreement where everybody's satisfied.
No, I guess it's just because lately it's been in the last couple of years it seems like it's gotten more politicized, and those fights have become harder to make. But with you, assuming you beat Chris, and maybe at some point you want to fight Anthony Joshua or you want to fight Dillian White, guys with Matchroom or whatever, because of the affiliation with PBC, are you pretty confident those fights can still be made, that you can kind of cross that divide?
Of course. All these fights cross-boundary promotions haven't made in the past. Ruiz was a PBC fighter, and he fought Anthony Joshua. So the fights could happen. It's just a matter of coming to agreement where both sides are satisfied and happy with the deal.
Appreciate it, man. Thanks.
Our next question is going to come from Keith Idec from theboxingscene.com. Please go ahead.
Yes, my question is for Chris. Chris, being that Adam is a heavy favorite in the fight and you're viewed as kind of the older guy and, you obviously have some losses on your record, how much motivation has that given to you that you're kind of, in some respects, being counted out in this fight?
I don't even pay attention to the odds, to be honest with you. But my main motivation is win or go home. That's my motivation. My motivation is to keep fighting, to keep putting food on my family's table, keep making a living off of boxing. That's my motivation. No disrespect to the odd makers or anything like that, but like Jeff Mayweather says, they don't know shit about boxing.
Chris, do you view this as your last chance, basically, so to speak?
Absolutely. This is my last chance, man. This is my last chance, not because the media or anything. This is my last chance because I say so. If I lose, I go home. No matter if it's a great fight, if it's a great fight or a great event, or could have gone either way. Plain and simple. I lose, I go home. I stay home, one and done, no more. So this is my added motivation. This is all I want. This is what I'm living for.
Thank you, Chris. And a question for Adam. Adam, how much more dangerous does that make Chris, being that he's toward the end of his career and he does view this as his last opportunity to kind of get where he wants to go? How much more dangerous does it make him?
A lot. I think a desperate man is a dangerous man, and I think he's very desperate to get another title shot. He had 2 knockout wins, and he's on the roll. So I'm prepared for the best Chris ARREOLA. I know he's going to come forward. He looks in great shape. I just got to make sure I have a better game plan and that I'm in better shape, which I know I put in a lot of hard work.
Thank you, guys.
And our last question for today comes from Chandler Willard from the Boxing Social. Please go ahead.
Hi, yeah, just have a question for Adam. Adam, like it's previously been mentioned, that you're on a journey to become the first Polish-born heavyweight champion of the world. With your assessment of Ruiz Joshua 2 later this year, how that goes, and mandatories to take place even after that, Deontay Wilder having his next 2 fights with Ortiz and Fury scheduled, when do you think your world title shot will come, and what do you intend to do until then?
Keep training. I got keep in shape. I could have had an opportunity to fight Anthony Joshua, but I was out of shape, so I didn't pick up the challenge. So from now on, I'm in the boxing. That's it. Just because the title shot could come around the corner on a couple of weeks' notice, because injuries, and accidents happen. So I'm definitely just got to be in camp nonstop, always working and perfecting my craft.
Okay, and just how do you see Ruiz Joshua 2 later this year? How do you see that fight going? Do you expect one of the belts to be vacated and maybe you fight for a vacant title?
Maybe that's a possibility, but boxing plays itself out. I think boxing is a great sport, always full of surprises, so you just got to wait and see what happens.
Okay, thank you for your time.
Our next question is going to come from Keith Addison with another question from BoxingScene.com.
Yes, I just had a quick follow-up question to what Adam just said. Adam, based on what happened in the Ruiz-Joshua fight, I know styles make fights and you don't fight the same way necessarily that Andy Ruiz does, but did you regret not being ready when that call came just because of Joshua was upset in that fight?
Yeah, I was upset I was not in any shape. I wasn't in boxing shape. I went to fight. It was my birthday. I found out my wife was pregnant, so I enjoyed life a little bit, which I regret because boxing is my first-time profession. And since that call, I was like, I got to get in shape and make sure that never happens again. So it was a learning lesson, which maybe stopped me from becoming or from achieving my goal a little bit faster than I would have. But at the time, I wasn't ready, so it was the right choice. And just got to continue to build on it. That's what life is about. It's about getting new experiences, learning new lessons, and not making sure you don't repeat those mistakes. So I'll definitely be in shape now. And if a call comes again in the near future, I got to be ready.
Thank you, Adam.
And that was our last question.
All right, guys. With that, we appreciate both Chris ARREOLA, Adam KOWNACKI taking out the time. Before we let them go, as they get set for their showdown this Saturday, PBC on Fox Fight Night from Barclays Center in Brooklyn, all brought to you by TGB Promotions. We go live 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 Pacific time. Final comments from Chris ARREOLA and Adam KOWNACKI. We'll start off with Chris ARREOLA, who has final comments. Chris?
You know what? I'm just ready for the Saturday. Let's get this show going, man. And see you guys this week. Thank you.
Adam, final comments.
No sleep to Brooklyn. I'll see you guys on the 3rd.
We are excited. You heard from both Adam KOWNACKI, Chris ARREOLA. We look forward to the rest of Fight Week in Brooklyn at Barclays Center. A tremendous night of action on tap. It is BBC on Fox Fight Night this Saturday, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific time. Thank you so much for the media. We'll see you all during Fight Week. Thank you.